Hello guys, welcome to Luxaryio. Many jurisdictions have undertaken various mega projects either independently or collectively, resulting in a worldview impact of global infrastructure and trade relations. Mega projects are attention complex endeavors that require extensive planning as well as a fair amount of luck to succeed. Needless to say, the best laid plans can fail. Keep this in mind as we explore the large-scale projects that failed across the whole of history. Before we continue, kindly subscribe to our channel and click on the notification bell to get updates on more videos like this from us. Now let's take a look at these mega projects that turned out to be useless. Number 15. Rojong Hotel, North Korea. It was supposed to be a prosperous symbol, but it turned out to be anything but. The pyramid-shaped Rojong Hotel in Pyongyang, which looms ominously over the North Korean capital, is still unfinished and vacant. The 105-story, 1,080-foot-tall skyscraper was started in 1987 but halted in 1992 when funds ran out due to the economic crisis that followed the Soviet Union's collapse. In 2008, construction of the $1 billion Hotel of Doom resumed, but only the exterior glasswork was completed. Construction was once again halted, with some commentators claiming that North Korea lacked the necessary raw materials and expertise to complete the project. Number 14. St. Francis Dam, USA. St. Francis Dam, constructed between 1924 and 1926 in the San Francisco Canyon, approximately 40 miles from the city of Los Angeles, was an important part of the Los Angeles Aqueduct, which served as the city's primary water supply. That was until March 12, 1928, when the dam crumbled, killing hundreds of people. The dam, designed by self-taught engineer William Mulholland, was doomed from the beginning. A slew of engineering flaws eroded the structure, which was built on shaky foundation in a geologically inappropriate area for such a dam. Mulholland was found not guilty, but the disastrous collapse ended his long career. Number 13. Superconducting Supercollider USA. The Superconducting Supercollider, or SSC, was a proposed particle accelerator complex in Texas that would have been the world's most powerful of its type. It was intended to be America's response to Switzerland's famous Large Hadron Collider, or LHC, which was completed in 2008. The SSC project began in the late 1980s, and by the early 1990s, approximately 15 miles of tunnel and 17 shafts had been bored and sunk in the site. The power was then revoked by Congress. The budget had risen from $4.4 billion to more than $11 billion, and the mega project was grossly mismanaged. Overall, $2 billion of U.S. taxpayer money was squandered on the project, which is now worth roughly $3.7 billion. Number 12. San Francisco Shipyard USA. With 12,000 relatively affordable homes and a variety of shops, offices, restaurants, and green spaces, the San Francisco Shipyard revitalization was to be the city's largest redevelopment project since the 1906 earthquake. Construction began in 2013, and several hundred condos were completed and sold before it was discovered that the site, which was used by the U.S. military as a covert nuclear testing facility from the 1940s to the 1960s, had dangerous levels of contamination. A class action lawsuit has been filed against the company in charge of the cleanup for allegedly falsifying soil tests that determined the site was toxin-free. Number 11. James Webb Space Telescope. It was aimed to be the Hubble Space Telescope's cooler, swankier, younger brother when it was conceived in 1996. The James Webb Space Telescope, or JWST, was projected to earn $1 billion and launched in 2007. The mega project, however, was dragged on indefinitely, and the budget has now risen to a whopping $9.7 billion. For good reason. The JWST has been termed the telescope that ate astronomy, but the science journal Nature. A series of setbacks and stupid errors, such as using the wrong cleaning solvents which damaged propulsion valves and loose screws which destabilized the telescope during tests, have harmed the project, which isn't expected to get off the ground anytime soon. Number 10. Hollands Rail Tunnel, Sweden. The 5.4-mile Hollands Rail Tunnel, also known as Scanlink, in southwestern Sweden started construction in 1992, and it was planned to be finished in 1995. Groundwater began sweeping into the tunnel almost immediately, posing a massive problem for the mega project's engineers. To make matters worse, the drill failed just after 59 feet of rock boring. To add to the drama, the main contractor went bankrupt and the mega project was taken over by Skanska, who used Rokagil, a toxic substance, to seal cracks on the rock. The sealant tainted nearby fish and cattle. Number 9. NHS National Program for ITUK. The NHS National Program for IT NPFIT, the world's largest and most expensive failed IT project, was attempted by a UK Department of Health to unite all public patient records in a single user-friendly system, connecting 30,000 doctors to 300 hospitals. Work began in 2002 on a massive, centralized database, which is expected to cost £2.3 billion, and to be completed in 2005. In reality, the mega project was mismanaged and plagued by technical issues, shifting specifications, privacy controversies, supplier issues, and a slew of other problems. In 2011, the projected completion cost had risen to $14.7 billion, prompting the government to cancel the NPFIT, leaving the British taxpayer out of the pocket by $12.2 in billions, that's £10 billion. Number 8. Interstate H3 USA. In terms of cost per mile, Interstate H3, which runs through the Hawaiian island of Oahu, is the most expensive highway megaproject in the United States. When the environmentally damaging highway was first proposed in the early 1960s, many native Hawaiians were outraged. The mega project did not begin until the late 1980s, with protests, environmental complaints, and legal challenges significantly delaying its completion. The highway eventually opened in 1997 after a budget-busting $1.3 billion, which is equivalent to $2 billion today. But local opposing still remains strong, and many native Hawaiians refuse to use it because they believe that it's cursed. Number 7. San Francisco Oakland Bay Bridge Eastern Span Replacement USA. The replacement of the seismically deficient eastern section of the San Francisco Oakland Bay Bridge proved to be California's most expensive public works mega project in history. The earthquake-resistant structure construction began in 2002 with a completion date of 2008 and a cost of $2.6 billion, up from $1 billion estimate 6 years earlier. Several issues arose during construction, including design flaws, water leaks, bolt failures, and a welding controversy that prompted an FBI investigation. Number 6. Darien Scheme, Panama. Failures of megaprojects are not a recent development. The Darien scheme, a doomed megaproject that changed the course of Scottish history, was an attempt in the 1690s by the Kingdom of Scotland to establish a colony on the Isthmus of Panama and built an overland route connecting the Pacific and Atlantic Oceans. The scheme was backed by a whopping 20% of all capital in circulation in Scotland at the time, which added up to tens of billions of dollars in today's money. Poor planning, inefficient management, English and Spanish opposition, and disease outbreaks that took the lives of countless workers all conspired to derail the scheme. As a result, it came as no surprise when this was neglected in 1700s. The mega project failure, which impoverished the country, is thought to have been one of the primary motivators behind the 1706 and 1707 Acts of Union, which united Scotland and England. Number 5. The American Dream Meadowlands, Mall, USA. The world wasn't the only major development to hit a snag during the Great Recession of the late 2000s. The American Dream Meadowlands Mall, formerly known as Xanadu Project in New Jersey, was first proposed in 2002 and has since become an American nightmare. The sprawling retail and entertainment complex, which is now expected to cost $5 billion due to everything from investor bankruptcies and legal challenges to ballooning costs and construction delays, was originally slated to cost $1.2 billion and opened in 2007. Construction on the East Rutherford Mall began in March 2005, but the opening date was pushed back and the mall parent company went bankrupt in 2007. A slew of botched handoff bankruptcies, litigations, and other issues, including the partial collapse of the roof, have further slowed down the mega project. Number 4. Expeditionary Combat Support System USA. The Expeditionary Combat Support System, or ECSS, was supposed to save money, but it cost the taxpayers $1.2 billion and failed miserably. It was developed by the United States Air Force to aid in the process of supply chain management. Oracle was hired to do development in 2005, but it was later taken over by the Computer Sciences Corporation. Despite massive investments, the U.S. Air Force concluded in 2012 that the system was essentially useless and canceled the entire project. Senators Carl Levin and John McCain described it as one of the most egregious examples of mismanagement in recent memory. Number 3. Flamanville Nuclear Power Plant, Unit 3, France. The Flamanville Nuclear Power Plant in northern France began construction on a new state-of-the-art reactor in 2007. EDF, the French energy giant, budgeted 3.3 billion euros for the flagship mega project and proudly announced that it would take only 4.5 years to complete. With a target completion date of 2012, the reactor, on the other hand, remains unfinished. Setback after setback, including welding problems, steel strength issues, and even an explosion on the job site, has caused the project to be significantly delayed and cost to skyrocket. Unit 3 is not expected to be operational until at least 2024. more than a decade later, and the costs have now risen to 12.4 billion euros. Number 2. Berlin-Brandenburg Airport, Germany. The planning for a new Berlin airport began in 1989 with a massive project that was not approved until 2006. The airport's construction began the following year with an expected opening date of October 2011. Overall, it was expected to cost 2.4 billion euros, but the budget and completion date proved to be very optimistic. In the summer of 2010, the opening date was pushed back to June 2012. A humiliating series of errors ranging from incorrect sized escalators to lack of check-in desks slowed the project even further and increased the budget to more than 7 billion euros. That's $8.2 billion. Number 1. Muskrat Falls, Lower Churchill Project, Canada. Since construction began in 2013, this massive hydroelectricity project in Labrador and Newfoundland has been nothing but trouble. The mega project, which was billed as a cost-effective and environmentally friendly way for two provinces to meet their energy needs, has exceeded all expectations. The project has gone over budget by $6 billion, that's $4.6 billion, and £3.7 billion, due to poor planning, shoddy engineering, and other issues. The multi-billion-dollar project, which was supposed to be completed in 2017, is now 3 years late and way behind schedule. In the summer of 2021, it's expected to be completed. The ostensibly environmentally friendly project has also been blamed for flooding the lower Churchill River by contaminating it with toxic methyl mercury. We've come to the end of the video, so if you have any questions, tell us in the comment section below and we will answer you. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and smash that notification bell so you don't miss wonderful content like this from us. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you again.